He contracted the unopened top floor of the Minju Hotel. A grand birthday banquet was held for Su Mu Yu. At this birthday party, the Su family's faces were all swollen. No one dared to underestimate him anymore. Su Mu Yu was also conquered by his romance. Completely infatuated with him, after taking down the Su family, his influence in Su Jing is growing stronger. Begin the process of annexing the Tang family. Dog system, you're being so honest again, huh? Tang Yu cursed angrily in his heart. He said this ghost system suddenly got so big. There must definitely be a book, based on the original plot. Yi Chen sent Longye to book the top floor. A banquet for Dr. Su Mu Yu. The hotel's general manager refuses to be replaced. Longye grabbed the general manager by the neck, threatened him with death. If you don't agree, you'll die. The hotel general manager had one foot in the gates of hell, realizing that this is someone you can't offend. I can only agree. If Yi Chen successfully wins over Su Mu Yu, the Su family will become his power, plus the Ling Cheng group and other forces. Tang family's situation will be very dangerous. Either way, it's death. Even dogs can't be dogs anymore. After taking a deep breath, his gaze fell on the hotel manager. If he remembers correctly, this guy's traitor talent is quite exceptional. Tang Yu playfully winked at him with a smile. I think this is something I can agree to, but we absolutely cannot let the birthday party happen. Do you understand what I mean? The manager nodded. I still feel a bit confused inside. He left the office, feeling somewhat puzzled. I met Longye, who was waiting in the reception room. Longye proudly shook hands with Wang Defa. My name is Longye. My boss wants to celebrate his woman, Miss Su Mu Yu's birthday. How much is the top tier in the private room? Make an offer. He heard about the rules of the Minju Hotel. The top level does not accept contracts. But the Dragon King has already given the order. What the Dragon King wants to achieve must be accomplished. He is ready to give the other party a strong warning. Let Minju Hotel know. Some people are those they cannot refuse. The manager's expression instantly darkened. Miss Su is their boss's woman. Emotions are meant to come between Tang Sheikang and women. No wonder Tang Shou wanted me to agree first before causing a panic. It turns out it was meant to slap the other person's face on purpose. The manager smiled smugly to himself. They readily agreed and stated that there would be no charge this time. His attitude made Longye feel somewhat different. It must be the existence of Longchen Group. Make the other party feel inclined to please. After all, spending 500 billion to acquire a company is a significant move. Anyone with a bit of sense knows. Someone capable of doing such a thing. Strength is inevitably unfathomable. After both parties confirmed this matter, Tang Yu nodded in satisfaction. The dog system wants to trick me. With extraordinary wisdom, a subordinate has also come out, Wo Rongfeng. How could a small system like you handle this? The man dressed like the villain from the novel. Due to the success of the dog, a storyline developed. They received a system reward of a hotel valued at 20 billion. Unexpectedly, the hotel was just acquired. The male lead is about to book the penthouse for the female streamer's birthday. In order to keep going as a dog, Tang Yu had her subordinates mess this up. Tang Yu pondered for a moment. According to the original plot, to showcase strength, Yi Chen also helped Su Jia secure the land from Cheng Zai, and this piece of land has now been secured by their own family. Longye left the hotel. Next, we are going to take care of this matter. To avoid trouble from this storm, Tang Yu still decided to not hold grudges. Call the hotel manager. Let him give that piece of land to Su Jia first. First, let Yi Chen show off his strength to Su Jaya. After the birthday party was ruined, just take this piece of land back." At that moment, Su Jaya felt like she was being made a fool of. Can still give him a good face. "Anyway, we can't let this dog continue in the Suzing state." The hotel manager finally understood. Tang Xiao wants to use this piece of land as a birthday gift for Miss Su. Truly worthy of being called young Master Tang. A bold move right from the start. Arrangement must be arranged. At this moment, Tang Yu heard the system's notification in her ear. "Post, you really understand. Because being shameless triggers a special reward. The perfected ancient martial art, immovable king technique." Tang Yu gasped. In the urban excitement, if there is no leisure writing, Gu Wu is undoubtedly the strongest existence. According to the introduction provided by the system, when cultivated to perfection, the body will become as solid as the immovable wisdom king. You just can't resolve the issue. But it can only be used once. This is a bit scary. After Tang Yu left, the manager stayed in the office, feeling extremely excited. Tang Xiao completed the task assigned to him. It was definitely a noble experience. Damn rival, let Tang Xiao be wonderful. 2 hours later, the birthday party plan has finally been sent over. After leaving the Minju Hotel, Long Ya, as the head of Lincheng Group, contacted a big shot again. "We need to help the Su family secure this piece of land." This was originally quite a troublesome matter. He thought that unconventional methods were needed to solve it. Only after he got in touch with the other party. Upon learning Long Ya's intentions, the other party quickly agreed. They didn't even mention any conditions. Just give them a favor by selling to the Lincheng Group. Both matters went so smoothly. It made him quite proud as well. The organization merely acquired a 500 billion group. Let the whole Su family take notice. No wonder the Dragon King chose this place as his first role upon returning to Huaxia. He quickly called Yi Chen. He reported back after the call connected. Very fast. The news spread throughout the Su clan. The top floor of the Minju Hotel that even the eldest son of the Tang family couldn't secure. I was unexpectedly booked by the boss of Lincheng Group. The entire upper class is curious. Who exactly is this mysterious boss of the Lincheng Group? Who is his woman? Celebrating a birthday at the top floor of Minju Hotel. 3 days later, several luxury cars suddenly stopped at the Su family's gate. Long Ya got out of the car, stepping into the Su family's entrance. Upon learning that Long Ya has arrived, the Su family members were a bit surprised. Dragon Tooth, isn't that the owner of Lincheng Group? Long Ya walked up to Sima Yu. Bowing respectfully, he said, "Miss Su, Yixiao asked me to come pick you up to celebrate your birthday at Minju Hotel." Su Muyu's expression changed slightly. He really reserved the top floor of the Minju Hotel. Su Muyu took a deep breath. Still decided to go for a trip. No matter what. Today I must make things clear with him. I have no feelings for him. Very quickly, a group of people got on the bus and headed towards the Minju Hotel. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. After much difficulty, I survived 2 waves of the plot. The moment of life and death has arrived again. To survive until the end. She can only follow the male lead's wishes and let him celebrate the occasion for the female lead at his hotel. I see Su Muyu has arrived. Yi Chen's lips curled up, unconsciously flashed a wicked smile. There is a feeling of exhilaration and pride. Su Muyu sighed, just about to speak clearly. As a result, the entire night sky was illuminated by fireworks. The sudden sound interrupted him. Everyone's attention was instinctively drawn to the fireworks. Looking at it, suddenly realized these fireworks turned into a string of words. Happy birthday, Su Mu Yu. This grand fireworks celebration. Almost half of Suzhou and Hangzhou could see it. Seeing the Su family's stunned expressions, Yi Chen was extremely satisfied with this. In my heart, I couldn't help but feel exhilarated. As the banquet approached its end, the fireworks once again transformed into a string of words. The fish that loves you. Yi Chen's face looked as if he had eaten something terrible. A birthday party prepared by himself for Su Mu Yu. Why is that bastard's name mentioned at the end? The faces of the Su family changed at once. Isn't that the name of Tang Yu? The onlookers watching the performance were too surprised. The hotel manager standing in the corner revealed a satisfied smile. Tang Yu learned that today's birthday banquet was a success. So they hurried over. When he rushed breathlessly to the top floor, everyone's gaze was focused on him. Su Mu Yu looked at Tang Yu with a face full of emotion. She didn't expect to prepare this birthday banquet so carefully for herself. It's actually this guy. Yi Chen strode up to Tang Yu with a pale face. She stared intensely at the drunkard and said, "This is all you're doing." At that moment, the hotel manager's voice suddenly rang out. "Not bad. This is a grand gift from my Tang Xiao to you." She approached with a group of bodyguards surrounding Yi Chen. "Avoid this mad dog from hurting Tang Xiao." Tang Yu felt a tightness in his chest and even a bit like he was going to vomit blood. "I just want to launch rockets in the field. You just dropped the bomb directly. I didn't expect your thick eyebrows and big eyes so thoroughly in 2.5 years." Yi Chen's face was pale with anger at this moment. Her eyes were fixed on Tang Yu, filled with resentment. "I saw several bodyguards standing in front of me." She rushed up and flew out. "I saw Tang Yu rushing over." Su Mu Yu stood in front of Tang Yu, furious and unyielding. Yi Chen's eyes blazed with anger, and he even felt a hint of killing intent. Then she quickly reacted. "She is not protecting Tang Yu. She is just protecting herself. If one acts impulsively, here a single punch killed someone with the surname Tang." Then things escalated. Long Il looked at the hotel manager attentively. "What does Minju Hotel mean? Mr. Yi Shayaway and Miss Su are hosting a birthday party. Do you dare to play like this?" The hotel manager chuckled dismissively. "Holding a birthday party. Isn't today the event hosted by Tang Shayaway and Miss Su? As for you, I haven't taken a single penny from you. What do you have to say?" Long Yi's face instantly changed. She finally understood. Why won't the other party accept my money? But then she pointed at the Su family members and shouted, "Don't forget about Chenxi's land." Without Yi Shao's words, "You Su family will never get it in your next life either." The Su family's expressions suddenly became somewhat awkward. Although this kid pretended for a long time that it wasn't her territory, it seems that the Su family really took advantage of Qi Chenxi regarding that piece of land. Su Zhongshan's expression darkened. "Just about to stand up and express my willingness to give the opportunity to her." The manager snorted coldly, his expression darkening. That piece of land was obtained by the Su family because of Tang Yu's command. As soon as she said this, Su Zhongshan quickly picked up his phone and made a call. After asking a few questions, I got the answer. She looked at Tang Yu with a grateful expression. At this moment, Yi Cheng's mindset was on the verge of collapse. But after extreme anger, at this moment, she became calm instead. She strode away from this place of deep humiliation. After she left, the hotel manager proudly adjusted his hairstyle. "Competing with Tang Xiao? You don't deserve it either." Tang Yu glanced at Wang Defa a few times. She looked left, right, up, and down. "This guy can't stay here any longer." She was lured to Siberia with the temptation of a doubled salary. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. The male lead messed up the birthday party. He prepared for the female lead, even subjected to public humiliation by everyone. For this reason, Yi Cheng also secretly harbored murderous intentions. Have the subordinates prepare for revenge. Within a week, the Minju Hotel must be unable to continue operating. We must ensure that the hotel manager has no place to be buried. As for Tang Yu, I not only have to kill her, she must watch the Tang family perish with her own eyes before she dies. After returning home, Tang Yu sat in the chair, looking utterly exhausted. Today is yet another day without a dog. Thinking about Yi Cheng's expression today, Tang Yu knew that the difficulty of what was to come would only increase. She just lay down. The system's voice began to sound. The host successfully survived the plot. Reward: 1 copy of the King Nang Tian Jing. Automatic learning. The dog system suddenly showed mercy. Such an amazing reward. Directly maxed out my brother's medical talent. She looked at her own body. The eyes seemed capable of piercing through the body to see the veins. In simple terms, her current medical skills, among all of Huaxia, it is the very best. Receiving such a great reward, Tang Yu didn't rush to feel happy. This dog system seems off. I saw the system just shutting down completely. Tang Yu decided not to use her medical skills publicly for now. He lay down on the bed and quickly fell asleep. The next morning she opened her eyes. I saw Jiang Zhaoyu standing by her bed, with a pure and sweet appearance combined with a petite figure. She really looks like a high school girl. Please pay a little attention to your image, do you understand? Early in the morning you want me, a pure-hearted boy, to talk about this. Is this appropriate? No wonder the elders say that women don't look down to see their feet. It's a role in the human world. After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Jiang Zhaoyu's ears turned bright red. She glanced down at the collar of her clothes, quickly stood up, blushing, and urged her to get up and eat. As I walked to the restaurant, a young man greeted Tang Yu. This is my second uncle's son. That is his cousin, Tang Royan. This guy. Tang Yu left quite a deep impression in the original book's plot. Not long after Tang Yu's death, Tang Lei was so angered that he fell ill and passed away. Tang Fu and Tang Mu seek revenge for Tang Yu. Spare no effort in seeking revenge. The Tang family cannot withstand the elegance of Kai Yun. The strength of the Longhan organization behind her far surpasses that of the Tang family. Thus Tang Royu, who had long suppressed her ambitions. Taking the opportunity, he leaned in closer to Yi Chen. After becoming the Dragon King's dog, I backstabbed the Tang family. The silence of the Tang family's lordship. This guy deserves a lot of credit. I need to find a chance to bury this kid. Tang Yu muttered to herself. The trillion-dollar assets of the Tang family are extremely oppressive. It's all the rewards for bringing back the dog to the end. After finishing breakfast, the three of them went to the small courtyard in the back to look for the old man. Jiang Zhaoyu poured a cup of tea for Tang Lei. I sat beside him and began to check his pulse. Tang Yu silently shot a glance. After receiving the reward of the King Nang Tianjing, he only needs to focus his attention with his eyes now. You can tell where a person's body has issues. Grandpa's stomach issue is an old problem. I can clearly feel cold energy swirling in my stomach now, according to the teachings of the King Nang Tianjing. This belongs to deficiency of stomach yin, caused by yin deficiency. The treatment plan should primarily focus on nurturing, using a century-old black rising mushroom as the medicinal base. Add golden sand ginseng and 6 other herbal ingredients to make herbal tea. Just take it for a month." Jiang Zhaoyu, who was checking the pulse of the old gentleman, heard a voice from the heart. I couldn't help but feel my pupils constrict. He looked at Tang Yu in shock. Tang Yu's brother can actually practice medicine, and there's no need to take a pulse. One can see where the problem lies just by standing on the side. Traditional Chinese medicine, observation, listening, inquiry, and palpation, the highest realm of longing is the state of being entranced. As for the King Nang Tianjing, this is the miraculous technique that traditional Chinese medicine practitioners have longed for. As a traditional Chinese medicine enthusiast, he couldn't help but swallow. After regaining composure, he spoke about Tang Leiaz's health issues. Then, according to Tang Yu's memorized prescription, the medicine was prepared. Tang Yu was a bit surprised on the side. "This girl wants to make herbal tea. Is it the same as what you imagined? This blue bag heavenly scripture doesn't seem to be a scam after all." I chatted with old Master Tang for a few moments. Jiang Zhaoyu greeted and returned to the clinic. Tang Lei's gaze fell upon Tang Yu and the others. The man just transformed into the villain from the novel. They encountered the traitor that led the family to ruin. At this moment, Tang Royu still appeared to be harmless, pouting to old Master Tang about wanting to work at Mail Food. Mail Foods is one of the core businesses of the Tang Group. Over the years, it has developed quite well. Tang Royu is the second child's offspring. I'd have been working at the branch of the Tang family group for many years. Could not engage with the core business, both from the Tang family's direct line. She was marginalized because of her father. 7 years ago, her father embezzles money from the company, secretly transferred the Tang Group's assets to her own name. This vile behavior was discovered by her. According to family rules, I should break your legs and expel you from the house. If it weren't for Tang Yu's family pleading for them desperately, now the Tang family has nothing to do with them. After pondering for a moment, she passed the matter on to Tang Yu. Tang Yu chuckled and put her arm around her shoulder. "This is no problem. Your abilities have convinced me. Janet. So this is how we start becoming immortal, right? Watch me not die from your nonsense." Tang Royu expressed her gratitude on behalf of her leader. After walking out of the Tang family gate, her face instantly darkened. There was a hint of resentment in his eyes. "I am clearly a member of the Tang family, too." In front of them, he seemed like a servant. Why is this old dove so biased towards Tang Yu? Where did I fall short compared to him? She let out a cold snort, driving the Porsche towards every video. This is the core business of the Tang family. Tang Yu is foolish enough to handle this business himself. Then don't blame him for being rude. Yi Xiao has already promised himself, as long as you cooperate with him. After Tang Yu dies, everything in the Tang family will be mine. After leaving home, Tang Yu drove back to the Tang Group. As soon as I walked into the office, I saw a girl at his desk. According to the employee's introduction, this is the new secretary, Chai Ying. Chai Ying immediately greeted. A hint of disgust flashed in Tang Yu's eyes. Tang Yu laughed as she walked over to shake hands with Chai Ying, gazing intently at the other person. This girl is indeed quite good-looking. Am I hearing things? When he confirmed again, he found that. It seems that I can hear this guy's thoughts. This made him feel a surge of excitement. This time, the Dragon King sent him to infiltrate the Tang Group. It is precisely to investigate the secrets of the Tang Group. Can hear this guy's inner thoughts. This task is just too easy. Tang Yu opened the computer and clicked on a business document. Suddenly coming to my senses. Chai Ying, isn't this the spy sent by Yi Cheng, that idiot? It won't be wrong. It's right to be so good-looking. It must be him. When Tang Yu's inner voice resonated again, Chai Ying was shocked yet extremely ashamed and angry. "I secretly wish I could take this guy down." Tang Yu quickly assigned him a task. "Thinking of a strategy in my mind." Based on the original plot, the Tang group was taken down due to the insider Tang Royu. Chai Ying also put in a lot of effort. He is not just skilled. Hacker technology is among the world's finest. So Yi Chenkai specifically had him enter the Tang group to steal secrets. "Isn't it just that you want the confidential information? I'll just steal it for you. I will make you a wedding gift shortly." Chai Ying felt a surge of black blood upon hearing this. "Do you really think I'm foolish? I can't tell what's true or false." Tang Yu, with a beaming smile, quickly typed on the keyboard. "Make various changes to the data on a confidential document." After the data has been modified, he printed out the documents and put them in a folder. Then let Chai Ying deliver it to President Xu. I'm dying of laughter. This fake information has been stored properly. There are still many things for you to steal these days. Take it back and bury Yi Cheng alive. But this is also for your own good. Consider it a way to indirectly get revenge for you. He is your true enemy. Speaking of which, our Tang family still owes your father a debt of gratitude. Sheon repays hatred." After Chai Ying picked up the materials, she heard a voice in her heart. Unavoidably, a game was played. The Dragon King is truly my enemy. Tang family owes gratitude to their father. The man just transformed into the villain from the novel. The male lead arranged for a spy to be by his side. Unexpectedly, one's own voice was heard again. This made Chai Ying question her own origins. He grew up in the Dragon Soul organization, trained personally by Yi Cheng's master, so they are extremely loyal to Yi Cheng. But as an orphan, he really wants to know who his family is. So secretly, he has been investigating. No matter how you investigate, he couldn't find any information about his parents, as if these two people did not exist in the world. So many years have passed. He was almost ready to give up. Today, Tang Yu suddenly brought up. It left him momentarily bewildered. After taking a deep breath for a moment, he quickly adjusted his thoughts. First, investigate the Tang family, since the Tang family has kindness towards my father. Following this lead, we will definitely be able to find out. At this moment, his phone suddenly rang. He glanced at his phone. It turned out to be the Dragon King's call. Hearing this, it makes sense. Yi Cheng finally breathed a sigh of relief. He smiled wickedly while holding his phone. "As long as you finish the task before Lin Han, then you can be my woman before him." Chai Ying didn't know how to respond to this message while holding her phone. Tang Yu's words, "The Dragon King is indeed the enemy." It caused a significant change in his mindset. Chai Ying came to her senses and quickly made a perfunctory response. Then hang up the phone. Quickly take a photo of the fake documents in hand with the phone. Quickly send it to the department. When he returned after delivering the documents, Tang Yu is typing away, busy creating fake documents. It took a long time for Chai Ying to come back. Tang Yu couldn't help but smile widely. The silly girl must have secretly made a copy of the documents. I laughed so hard. It's said that the fierce ones are often mindless. His IQ isn't that great either. No wonder they were deceived by Yi Chen and his apprentice for so many years. It's quite pitiful. Chai Ying couldn't help but twitch her lips upon hearing the heartfelt words. "Can you stop being so stubborn? I really want to hit someone." But upon hearing Tang Yu mention Yi Chen and his apprentice, he had no choice but to believe Tang Yu's words. This guy even knows about the existence of that old man from the Dragon Soul organization. Tang Yu looked at Chai Ying standing by the side, then asked him to help with a game research. He said this as he turned on the office gaming console. "I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. There are a total of 25 games here. They are all the best-selling items on the market now. I hope you can help them all clear the levels. Every day at work I feel overwhelmed. Some companies provide free snacks and milk tea. Delivery orders will also be reimbursed. Eat whatever you want." Tang Yu, with a serious expression, finished her admonition. "Just smile and leave the office. It's not really appropriate to transfer you, to prevent you from causing trouble elsewhere. Can you play games every day?" After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt words before leaving, Chai Ying sat there speechless and started playing the game. Soon he was immersed in the world of the game. In a hotel room on the 12th floor, a female server stands at the door gently knocking. It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The checkout time was originally set for 1 p.m. After 3 knocks, there was still no response from inside. The waiter can only open the door with the hotel room card. The air conditioner is running in the room. The temperature is astonishingly low. The waitress shivered from the cold. I saw the bathroom light still on. I walked over and took a glance. Only then did I discover a woman lying in the bathtub, and the water in the bathtub had turned blood red. Just a few minutes later, the hotel's medical staff rushed over to provide rescue. There is news of a suicide at the Minju Hotel. It quickly spread around. A large group of guests immediately checked out upon hearing the news. Teng Yu rushed over immediately. When she came over, the new hotel general manager, Zhao Lai, is already waiting. The new general manager barely settled into the position before getting a promotion and a raise, then left. As soon as she took over, a storm of trouble arrived. This is not handled well. It has a significant impact on the hotel. Zhao Lai looked around. He said in a low voice, "The scene has been cordoned off. Preliminary judgment is suicide. However, the police found that a section of the victim's hair was missing, and it's very likely to be killed by the milk, but no evidence can be found. Moreover, the surveillance did not show anyone entering or leaving her room." Teng Yu frowned deeply. This is indeed a bit off. She took out a cigarette and lit it, sat down and thought for a moment. She instantly thought of someone. Dragon Tooth, the man dressed like the villain from the novel, just finished dealing with the sword woman sent by the male lead. A bizarre murder case occurred right at their own hotel. The police initially ruled it a suicide. But strangely, the victim's hair was missing a section. This phenomenon led Tang Yu to unconsciously focus her suspicion on Longya, as one of the 8 great generals of the Dragon Soul organization. The play King Zhang Longya has quite a few scenes. The author enhances her character's presence, gave her a strange persona. After the murder, one would take something from the victim. He said he would cut off someone's pinky finger. The woman cut off a section of her hair. Tang Yu's expression darkened slightly. Last time, Yi Chen was caught in a heavy rain at the hotel. It's also normal to seek revenge on oneself, but to frame oneself with a life. This is a bit insane. I need to find a chance to bury this guy. The master is hard to deal with. Hitting a mad dog isn't that difficult. The next morning, the victim's family caused a scene outside the hotel. A group of them came, dozens of people, but apart from comforting, no other actions were taken. After a few days of commotion, Longya felt that the time was almost ripe. He came alone to the Minju Hotel to find Zhao Lei. Tang Yu happened to be here when I arrived. Same Tang Yu. A flicker of murder intent flashed in his eyes. Isn't this Sister Tang? Haven't seen you in days. The hotel business is struggling so much. Tang Yu looked furious. We have to thank Long Zong for bringing a group of people to cause a stir every day, right? Long Ye sneered. My purpose for coming here today is very simple. I don't like this hotel. Either close down or sell it to me. Last time, the Dragon King suffered great humiliation here, leading a disturbance for a year. I won't sell you this hotel either. Ten Yu pointed to the door. It means he can leave now. Longya suddenly erupted with fury. Laughing, I kicked at the dolly inspection site. A hint of a smile flashed in Teng Yu's eyes. This is the common tactic used by Longya, this mad dog, during negotiations with people, deliberately intimidating opponents to break through their psychological defenses. He deliberately showed a fearful expression. After struggling for a moment, they spoke. Okay, I'll sell. Seeing Tang Yu lower her head and retreat, he threw the already prepared contract to Tang Yu. After signing and stamping, the owner of this hotel changed from Tang Yu to Longya. He is now the head of Lingcheng Group, so the hotel was also put under his name. After signing the contract, Longya smiled with satisfaction. After the two walked out of the hotel, Zhao Lai couldn't help but say, Tang Xiao, why agree to his terms? Our Tang family cannot allow him to bully us at will. Tang Yu wore a relaxed smile. He pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and smiled. You'll find out in a couple of days. The real show has just begun. Seeing Tang Xiao so calm, Zhao Lai's mood also calmed down. Tang Yu asked if the former manager's family had moved away. Zhao Lai stated that the truck to Siberia left the night before last, but he forged his travel records to Africa. Wan Defa is safe now. The hotel also sends him to the door. Next, it's time to show Longya the dog some attitude. He returned to the car and took out his phone. Typing away at the keyboard, a message was sent out. The man has just become the villain from the novel. Was framed by the male lead's subordinates. A murder occurred in his hotel. To fish with a long line for a big catch. Tang Yu could only agree to sell the hotel at a low price to Longya. Yi Cheng felt a sense of joy in his heart. Minju Hotel is a place where he was humiliated. Longya can be bought so cheaply. In an instant, he earned over 100 billion for himself. His abilities are indeed outstanding. After Denghua hung up the phone, Yi Cheng put away his phone with a charming smile. I've suffered so much in Suzhou and Hangzhou. Finally, he vented his anger. This is just a little secret. The real show is just beginning. Shenxi substation. A stunning female police officer is sitting in front of the computer, frowning and deep in thought while staring at several documents. The case at Minju Hotel is still under investigation. This case is definitely a homicide. But Bai Wanyi couldn't find any evidence. Let him be constantly annoyed by this. I've been sitting in front of the computer for days thinking about how to solve the case. At that moment, the phone suddenly rang. He quickly glanced over. I found that someone had sent me an email. His intuition told him that this email sent to his private inbox was a crucial clue. He quickly opened the email to take a look. In an instant, the pupils contracted. This email is related to Minju Hotel, but unrelated to the murder case, but rather involved drugs. He slammed the table and shouted at his colleague, quickly call Wang Ju over. The leader called Wang Ju is a round-faced middle-aged person. It looks very righteous. Wang Ju took a glance back. The expression instantly became serious. If the clues in this email are true, this is a major case. Wang Ju commanded loudly. The meeting will start soon. Establish a team for investigation. I personally led the team. Soon, the entire West City branch was in action. After the meeting, The investigation team left the precinct to begin their investigation. Bai Wani also wants to join the investigation team, but was rejected by Wang Ju. Let her eat first and rest well. Feeling down, she changed into casual clothes and went out to eat. There was a pickpocket on the bus at that time. She bravely intervened to stop the thief. After getting out of the car, he climbed up and brought people to take revenge on her. Several people were knocked down by her. She was quite surprised when she went to catch someone. This guy is hiding his true abilities. So I have a slight impression. But the most impressive thing is, it's still this guy's smile. It always feels a bit strange. Yi Chen instinctively smiled wickedly, the corners of the mouth lifted high. She is holding a rattling snake skin bag in her hand. Inside, it was filled with various plastic bottles and the like. Seeing her like this, Bai Wani couldn't help but find it a bit amusing. You're developing a side business. Yi Chen sighed. Just met an old lady. At 100 years old, still picking up bottles. It's not easy to look at the monster. Help her return the bottle. I also bought her some fruit. Hearing her say this, Bai Wani had developed a bit more fondness for her. Learning that Bai Wani is going to eat, Yi Chen didn't linger and just left. Pursuing a girl, you need to know how to measure your actions. After walking a short distance with a bag of plastic bottles, just casually toss it into a trash can. This is what she just spent 10 yuan on. Bought it from an old lady who collects scrap. 2 deliberately arranged meetings. She already has enough confidence. Bai Wani is a woman that must be conquered. The Bai family, although not one of the 4 great families of Suzhou and Hangzhou, influential yet quite terrifying. Their family is involved in politics. Half of the political scene in Suzhou and Hangzhou is comprised of their families, students, and hometown. To control Suzhou and Hangzhou, one cannot do without the power of the Bai family. Went to the roadside to wash my hands. She hurriedly sat down to rush to the next place. The man has just transformed into the villain from the novel. Was framed by the male lead's subordinate. After selling the hotel to her at a low price to adapt to the situation, someone immediately reported anonymously that there were unclean things in the hotel. Longya was sitting in the hotel office at that moment. A sudden flurry of rustling sounds came from the corridor outside the door. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open. A group of police officers rushed in. Leading the team is Bai Wani. She pulled out her identification and asked coldly, "You are the hotel manager." Longya's gaze swept over Bai Wani with unrestrained scrutiny. "Yes." "What's wrong?" Bai Wani waved her hand. A police officer took out handcuffs to put on Longya. "Your hotel is suspected of harboring drugs. Come with us for a trip." Longya was about to counterattack. Several fully armed SWAT officers have begun aiming their guns at her. She immediately raised her hands. The eyes were filled with anger. After being taken downstairs, Longya was completely dumbfounded. The surrounding area has been sealed off. The police cars on the road resembled 2 long dragons. Dozens of people are handcuffed and sitting on the ground. Their faces were filled with fear and anxiety. Longya may be a fool. They also know that this incident will definitely cause a big stir. Soon, this major news spread throughout Suzhou and Hangzhou. The famous Minju Hotel is actually suspected of harboring drugs. As the head and legal representative of the hotel, Longya was completely stunned this time. The Minju Hotel was also sealed on the spot. Tang Yu quietly facilitated all of this. Right now, I'm lying in bed playing on my phone. Shanxi branch's operation has already come to her knowledge. Tang Yu recalled the original book logically. Someone is smuggling drugs in the hotel. So they immediately had someone quietly investigate in the hotel. After finding the clues, "Just hand this hot potato to Long Ya." The other party answered happily. He also effortlessly scooped back 5 billion. As for offending Yi Chen, Tang Yu has gradually begun to get used to it. If you can endure, then try to endure. When unable to hold on, G can't just stretch his neck for you to see. Just about to put my phone down to sleep. His phone suddenly rang. He took a glance. The screen shows Bai Wani. Tang Yu instantly felt a bit curious. Did he find out that it was an email sent by himself after receiving the clue last time? He thought for a moment and specifically chose the anonymous email sent by Bai Wani. They all come from prominent families in Seoju and Hangzhou. He is somewhat familiar with Bai Wani. However, Bai Wani has a very poor impression of him, because he has a good brother, Qin Ming. Qin Ming is the most famous playboy in Seoju and Hangzhou. The two are as close as two peas in a pod. So he was also hated by Bai Wani. After pondering for a moment, he then answered the phone. "Isn't this Miss Bai? You're looking to have a heart-to-heart with me late at night. Go away. Are you the former owner of the Minju Hotel? Please come to the West City branch for an investigation. Stop talking nonsense. Otherwise, I'll bring people to your house to catch you." After Bai Wenny hung up the phone, Tang Yu couldn't help but click his tongue twice. This woman is still such a firecracker. She is quite famous in the Seoju and Hangzhou circles because of being too upright. Many young masters have suffered great losses at her hands. Power is such a thing. Indeed, it's far more powerful than money. This is also the standard style of a thrilling female police officer. The family has a remarkable background. Self-righteousness can lead to reckless actions. Every day is just about catching people. This is also the reason why Tang Yu chose her. Put on your clothes happily. Tang Yu prepared to go out. Anyway, the hotel owner and the person in charge are not me. Just going through the motions. By the time she arrived at the West City Police Station, Bai Wani is waiting for her arrival. Zheng looked at himself with disgust. "Just look at me like that, bro." This gaze is very okay. Although G deeply felt the contempt for his personality. But it's okay. I like it. I hope you can try harder. Bai Wani felt that she had been too tired lately, not resting well. Whose voice was that just now? It seems like this guy's. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel, upon discovering that someone was hiding drugs in their hotel. Thus, they decided to play along and sold it to the male lead's subordinate. Then they reported back in retaliation. Unexpectedly, I was the former owner of the hotel. Bai Wani also summoned me to the police station for questioning. Bai Wani looked at Tang Yu and asked, "Did you hear about the incident at Minju Hotel today?" As the former owner of the Minju Hotel, also a suspect in the crime. Are we starting the notes now? Your buddy is the real suspect. G's family is so wealthy. I'm full, so I'll handle this. That email was sent to you by G, all right. After hearing the new sound again, Bai Wani finally confirmed that she wasn't hearing things in a daze. She frowned slightly, entangled in their own ability to hear new sounds. What she cares about more is that email. It was sent to Tang Yu by himself. She doesn't like people who are unreasonable, with the capital of the Tang family. It's really not worth touching such dirty things. Bai Wani twirled the pen in her hand, gazing at Tang Yu. "Do you have any clues about this case? I've sent you everything I know, all right. However, my brother did find out that some families are selling hotels because of certain issues. Under normal circumstances, G would definitely report it directly. Long Ye insisted on forcefully buying the hotel, but I had no proof That son of a dog set me up. After the murder at the Running Brother Hotel, it was staged as a suicide, bringing more people to cause trouble again. If it weren't for not being able to find any clues, Gal Lyon reported him together all right. Bai Wanni's body trembled slightly. Fire almost burst from his eyes. The hotel murder case that I have been investigating hard. It turns out she planned it all by herself. Bai Wanni began to grit her teeth. But for Tang Yu in front of me, she is a bit unfamiliar as well. This guy knows so much. Still hiding and not telling myself. It's good that I can hear her waking up. She took a big sip of water to refresh herself, staring at Tang Yu. Then I would like to know, why did you suddenly decide to sell the hotel to Long Yap? Moreover, the transaction price is so low. Tang Yu wore a completely inhuman smile. Being wealthy allows for indulgence. She causes trouble every day. The hotel can't be managed well, right? This kind of background as a mercenary. No one has any humanity at all. Bai Wanni's expression changed again. She has already investigated Longya. Based on the collected information, Longya's identity abroad is that of an entrepreneur. This trip back to the country is for investment. As for the identity of the mercenary, she really couldn't find out. She quickly noted down this key information. This clue perfectly matches her refusal. Bai Wanni continued to ask, "How much do you know about Longya?" Tang Yu directly splashed dirt on her without hesitation. He understands this kind of scum to some extent. This person is just crazily reckless. After killing someone, they collect the victim's body parts. I remembered the woman she killed. The hair might be hidden in her house. Can I send you the email later? Almost forgot to check this. Bai Wanni quickly noted down this key clue. After obtaining so many clues, this case can finally be solved. She found Tang Yu a bit more pleasing to the eye. This guy really helped a lot. The investigation concluded after a symbolic process. The two were just about to get up and leave the office. The office door has been pushed open. Yi Chen walked in with a lawyer. Seeing Bai Wanni and Tang Yu together, she instantly fixed her gaze firmly on Tang Yu. Bai Wanni did not look at Yi Chen and asked, "What's wrong?" "You are here to report a case." Yi Chen's expression was slightly awkward. "I came to visit a friend. She has been captured by you all." Ever since hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt thoughts, Bai Wanni's feelings for Yi Chen disappeared completely in an instant. Playing with criminals, what else is there besides garbage? Yi Chen noticed Bai Wanni's indifferent gaze. "I'm about to throw up from frustration. As a master of flirting, she is well aware that her actions today are a serious taboo. It's easy to incur Bai Wanni's dislike. Qi Longya is in trouble. As the leader of the Dragon Soul organization, she cannot ignore her. If this matter isn't handled well, the Dragon Tooth Special Order must undergo reincarnation. How will the people in the organization view themselves then?" Nothing was accomplished upon returning to Huaxia. First, send a brother to serve the Buddha. I was unintentional. Bai Wanni reacted upon hearing the name Longya. "My impression of Yi Chen has fallen to rock bottom. The man dressed as the villain from the novel sold her hotel at a low price to the male lead. I didn't expect something would happen at the hotel right after the transaction was completed. The male lead's subordinate was successfully sent into the bureau. But I also have the identity of a former store manager, taken to the police station for questioning." Unexpectedly, Bai Wanni heard his innermost thoughts. This not only cleared his suspicion, also provides key clues for solving the case. The male protagonist is the leader of the Dragon Soul organization. I can only come to handle this matter. Even had to reveal their own identity. Bai Wanyi was not shocked by this. The tone was so cold that it rejected Yi Chen's visit. Yi Chen became somewhat anxious after hearing this, pointing at Tang Yu. She is innocent in this matter. She just took over Minju Hotel a few days ago. The previous owner of Minju Hotel was this young master Tang. She is the one you should be catching. Tang Yu widened her eyes. What does it have to do with me? I wasn't involved again. Officer Bai has completed the investigation. I'm innocent. Foolish Dragon King, don't you dare shift the blame onto me. I definitely didn't kill anyone at the hotel. If anyone should be caught, it should be you. After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Bai Wanyi looked at Yi Chen and said, I don't need you to teach me how to do things. The legal representative and person in charge of the hotel is Longya. I caught him. You are his boss. That means the Minju Hotel is your property. That's just right. Are you also ready to undergo the investigation? Yi Chen was so angry that his face turned green. What kind of logic is this? Tang Yu's was shouting from the side, enjoying the spectacle. Wow, isn't the plot a bit off? This time, Yi Chen should have finished gaining affection. This guy specifically went to catch a pickpocket, to create their first meeting. He even went to buy a bag of plastic items. I helped the old lady with the time. These two waves of goodwill have been established. Bai Wanyi should already be screaming inside that she's in love with her. Definitely, the plot has progressed. Quickly arrest her, officer. Men like her are so restrained. It's a shame not to go in. Bai Wanyi had a dark expression in her eyes. Even the initial encounter was deliberately orchestrated by this guy named Yi Chen. This man is really disgusting. Yi Chen pointed at Tang Yu, trying to contain his anger. Officer Bai, I can cooperate with you for the investigation, but the one you really should investigate is this young Master Tang. I suspect he maliciously sold the hotel to frame my friend. Tang Yugang wanted to argue back. Bai Wanyi has already taken the lead. Is it wrong for someone to be wealthy? She bought the hotel to confess to her girlfriend. The trembling of Yi Chen's era. I recall that humiliating night in the hotel. Bai Wanyi listened to her heart for a long time. It has been concluded that Yi Chen is definitely not a good woman. It has also been confirmed that Tang Yu is innocent. And she discovered the crime scene afterwards. Send an email to yourself immediately. What does this indicate? She believes she deserves 5 conditions of luck. Otherwise, they wouldn't have entrusted such an important clue to me. Yi Chen beside him had veins bulging on his forehead. Bai Wanyi. She is surprisingly gentle with this guy. Their attitude towards themselves became as indifferent as when they faced an enemy. At that moment, the office door was pushed open from the outside. Su Mu Yu walked in from outside. Behind me are bodyguards and a lawyer. I saw Su Mu Yu walk in. Yi Chen, who is just filled with anger, instantly felt better, even feeling a bit bold. This girl talks about staying away from herself in various ways. But when you really encounter trouble, the man dressed as the villain from the novel just cleared my name in the crime case at Minju Hotel. I just ran into the scene where my ex and current partner meet. The two locked eyes. It felt as if the temperature in the entire room had suddenly dropped. Seeing the two women meet was like water and fire. Tang Yu has completely lost her mind. He had long heard that the relationship between the two women was not harmonious. Rarely appears in the same occasion. But you can't get along. Why am I being dragged into this? Just wanted to sneak away. Wang Yixu has come up and hugged his other arm. He held Su Mu Yu hostage. Isn't he your fiancé? Do you know what he likes to eat? What brand of cigarettes is it? Do you prefer black stockings or white stockings? Su Mu was truly choked up. decide to unleash a powerful counterattack. Is it important to understand this? As long as he likes me. Everyone in Su and Huing knows he likes me. A few days ago, he even threw a birthday party for me. As expected, Wang Yixu instantly felt a bit angry. So he gritted his teeth. Just pull out the phone. Teng Yu's expression changed drastically at his movement. Just wanted to stop Wang Yixu's crazy actions. Bai Wanny has already slammed the table, her face filled with anger. Teng Yu hurriedly dragged the two women out of the office. Yi Chen, who stood aside, her face looked worse than if she had eaten a dead fly. After leaving the West City Division, Teng Yu looked at the two women helplessly. Are you planning to tear me in half and take me back? Fortunately, a luxury car stopped in front of them. Teng Yu was being held by two girls on her arms. Qin Ming hesitated, wanting to speak but holding back. What the hell is going on? At this moment, the two women felt embarrassed to continue being angry. Everyone let go of Teng Yu. After learning that Teng Yu is safe, Qin Ming walked over with a smile and hugged Teng Yu. Then they discovered Su Mu Yu and the other girls staring at them with murderous gazes. Last time, she took Teng Yu to the Zen Club. Both girls remember it. As soon as they leave, Teng Yu quickly took out a cigarette, lit it, and pressed it tightly. At this moment, Qin Ming, looking weary, stood up and said, "Brother, if there's nothing else, I'll head back to rest now. Let's drink again next time. I've been extremely tired lately. Can't sleep well and keeps having nightmares." Qin Ming had just left. Teng Yu recalled the plot of the Qin family in the original book. Qin Ming's health issues are due to the feng shui problems of the old house. The root of the problem lies in the jade Buddha that Qin Ming bought a week ago. The jade Buddha was tampered with by Yi Chen. After Qin Ming brought it back, the feng shui of the Qin family was greatly affected. The originally auspicious land has turned into a place of misfortune. At the moment the Qin family is in crisis. Yi Chen intervened to save. In the end, the Qin family treated her like a goddess. Respectfully call her a title. The eldest daughter of the Qin family thus developed a fondness for her, falling deeper into her grasp step by step. As Teng Yu recalled the plot, the system's voice suddenly rang out. The host successfully survived the plot of Chengxi Sub-Bureau. Reward for mastering the ancient martial arts Yin Yang Wuji technique. Can only be used once. According to the system introduction, this ancient martial art of Yin Yang Wuji Gong, after completing the cultivation, can relay strength, double the damage received back. This one-time restriction is just too frustrating. The other side, Yi Chen was left in the office. Bai Wanny thoughtfully put the handcuffs on her. In her heart, Yi Chen is no different from a criminal now. Yi Chen put on the handcuffs, his face calm but his heart filled with rage. She originally thought that her friendship with Bai Wanny would. Making a record or something shouldn't take too long. The result can only be explained here now. The next afternoon, a tall and attractive character brought her out. This person is indeed the eldest daughter of the He family and Huiyin. She is one of the most beautiful in Suzhou and Hangzhou. He family is quite low-key in Suzhou and Hangzhou, but their strength is not inferior to the four great families. They are a branch of the He family, a prominent family from Yanjing. Madame He, the head of the household, has some connections with her master. So after arriving in Suzhou and Hangzhou, she visited the He family right away and helped Grandma He with her medical treatment. Let the He family owe me a favor. Such a precious human connection, used in this kind of nonsense place, made her want to die. The man dressed like the villain from the novel just broke free from the electric tension between my current girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend. He learned that the feng shui of his good brother's old house had been tampered with. Tang Yu knows. Yi Chen is preparing to take over the Qin family. Unexpectedly, Tang Yu had just arrived at the ancient literature hall of Debao building. Then I met Yi Chen and Qin Kexin. She hurriedly hid behind a shipping container, deliberately turning away from the two to avoid being recognized. Qin Kexin, as the eldest miss of the Qin family. In Seju and Hangzhou, there are extremely famous beauties. But she looked extremely haggard today. The reason for this expression: it is precisely because the Qin family has encountered some issues recently. The whole family hasn't been able to rest well. Everyone had nightmares after falling asleep. After a period of time, everyone's body has developed some issues. So the Qin family members all began to suspect. Is there a problem with the feng shui at home? She came to the classical literature market today. I just wanted to see if there are any good things that can improve the feng shui. I didn't expect to run into Yi Chen on the way here. Of course. This chance encounter was also deliberately arranged by Yi Chen. She hasn't known Yi Chen for very long. Last time, a snake somehow slithered into the house. She was scared stiff, just as Yi Chen was searching for a ride in the neighborhood. Rushed over upon hearing the scream. After helping her deal with the snake, the two of them got to know each other like this. You really came up with that. Deliberately threw a snake into someone's house. Then rushed to the rescue to save the beauty. I've never seen someone as shameless as you, okay? If it weren't for your lack of morals, the feng shui of the Qin family will encounter problems. Not acting would be a waste of your talent. Qin Kexin is selecting ancient texts. Suddenly, a series of sounds was heard. Could not help but be taken aback. But looking around, there was no one beside me talking. But this voice feels somewhat familiar. What mattered to her even more was, these few sentences contain too much content. She is very clear that these words all point to Yi Chen beside her. She couldn't help but glance at Yi Chen. A hint of doubt flickered in his eyes. Yi Chen looked at Qin Kexin staring blankly at him, smiled even more confidently and spoke up. Miss Qin, the feng shui in your home must have attracted negative energy. All right then, I have a talisman here. You take it back and wear it first. Let's see if we can improve the situation. This amulet is something I learned from a wise master. It took 3 months to get it done. You talk big without thinking it through. This thing can be easily ghosted with just any outfit. Poor Qin Kexin, that foolish woman fell for it. She foolishly thought this man was sent by heaven to save her. When the voice was heard once again, Qin Kexin can finally be certain. This is definitely not a case of auditory hallucination. Someone is talking to themselves, but it seems only I can hear this voice. At this moment, she feels somewhat angry. If all of this is real, then don't blame her for being impolite. However, until evidence is obtained, she wouldn't rush into negotiations. Qin Kexin disguised her expression well, received the amulet and softly expressed gratitude. After they left, Teng Yu finally walked out from behind the container. After a turn, his gaze landed on a jade talisman. The jade talisman is carved into the shape of the yin-yang fish. It looks lifelike. A masterpiece that truly deserves its acclaim. According to the original storyline, after a little while, Yi Chen will come to the store, buy this yin-yang fish jade talisman back, because this is the key prop she uses to show off. This object can absorb all the negative energy. According to the novel's setting, the Dragon King is all-powerful, skilled in feng shui, medicine, gambling, and everything in between. so this thing can only be used by her to solve the problem. But just watching Yi Chen successfully take over the Qin family, Teng Yu felt quite unhappy about it. She can't just watch her brother suffer. I lost my family business to that bastard and it feels like I'm dying. After thinking for a moment, she decided to make a decision that went against her ancestors. Summoned the edict. Keep this yin-yang fish jade talisman safe for me, except for a guest named Yi Chen. No one can sell the way. This key item must still fall into Yi Chen's hands. Only by doing so can we resolve the crisis of the Qin family. So there can't be any mistakes here. This damn plot always falls apart. She put in a lot of effort. A deep nod. I feel like this name that Tang Xiao mentioned sounds a bit familiar. After thinking for a moment, I suddenly became alert. Isn't this the bastard who competes with Tang Xiao for women? It is said that as long as you step on her hard once, then Tang Xiao will promote Shengjai Jiaxin to be in charge abroad. Is heaven giving me a chance? The man dressed as the villain from the novel, in order to ensure the plot progresses smoothly. The male lead must first complete the heroic rescue scene. Let him successfully obtain the yin-yang fish talisman to resolve the Qin family's killing intent. Unexpectedly, all of his subordinates were traitors. Zhao Gaoshen decided to stir up more trouble for Jiazin. He immediately took out the yin-yang fish talisman from the cabinet. Then I ran to find another identical jade talisman. It is precisely the yin talisman within the yin and yang talismans. The yang talisman among the two yin-yang fish jade talismans is used to dispel killing intent. Yin Fu is used to cultivate killing intent. After exchanging the two items, place the Yin Fu inside the counter. The price has been adjusted to 30 million. After doing all this, he happily returned to the counter, waited for about half an hour. Indeed, Yi Chen walked in from outside. He walked around the store after he came in, arrived at the counter of the yin-yang fish jade talisman. Just now, when I accompanied King Kexin in, he spotted this thing at a glance. I know this is a great treasure to deal with killing intent, originally intended to solve the Qin family's problems. No need for these props. He can handle it himself. But what he didn't expect was, the feng shui of the Qin family old house is indeed quite good. This golden belt feng shui layout gathers wind and stores water. After he interfered, the speed at which the killing intent is gathering is a bit exaggerated. But when he saw the price, her expression slightly changed. Are you robbing the store? This thing is priced at 30 million. Boss, we haven't cheated you here. Yesterday, a feng shui master from Hong Kong came over. They all say this thing is a precious treasure. Come to buy tomorrow. If you're willing to take it, then take it. If you don't take it, then forget it. I sell to anyone. Hearing that someone else actually wants this thing, Yi Chen's expression changed slightly. After a moment of contemplation, in the end I reluctantly took out this sum of money. Meanwhile, at the Wang family's side, since Zhao Yu last came to treat old Master Wang's illness, old Wang's health has gradually improved. After dinner today, Wang lay as he was just picking up his brush to practice calligraphy. He held the brush, the first character not yet finished. Suddenly, the pen in my hand fell to the ground. Immediately, the old man sat down in the chair, clutching his chest. The body trembled violently. Soon, the four of them rushed over to examine old Master Wang. After it's done, Wang Yixu quickly asked. The doctors looked somewhat confused. Many expressed that Wang Leiyezi's condition was a bit dangerous. Organs began to slowly fail, but the specific cause of the illness cannot be determined. It's advisable to quickly summon Dr. Jiang. After Jiang Zhaoyu arrived, quickly began to examine Wang Lei's body, checked for quite a while. A look of confusion appeared on his face. The old man's condition is very critical now, but he couldn't figure out where the problem was. Seeing Jiang Zhaoyu's expression was somewhat bewildered. Wang Yixu felt a bit anxious inside. The Wang family members beside them were equally flustered. Jiang Zhaoyu's expression was quite unpleasant. I can't figure out what the problem is. But the old man's condition is indeed very critical now. If it cannot be resolved within a day. Wan Bulu standing at the back of the crowd. There was a look of relief in his eyes. Just after Jiang Zhaoyu arrived, he was extremely anxious inside, fearing that Jiang Zhaoyu might uncover something. Last time, he intended to cooperate with Yi Xiao, freeze the Wan family's liquid assets. Let's drive Wang Yixu out of the center of power. Make yourself successful and rise to the top. The result is unknown for some reason. The plan actually failed. Wang Yixu not only noticed subtle clues, bit back at Yi Xiao. As for today's scene, it was his hand that moved naturally. Yi Xiao looked dejected after the plan failed. Struck him again. Let him go directly after the old man. With this, the old man is gone. The issue of the heir must be decided. According to family rules, the family power should ultimately rest with the male heir. Without the old man to protect me, Wang Yixu's power cannot be maintained. Wang Yixu's tone was filled with bitterness. What should we do now? Why not let teacher Jiang give it a try when he arrives? Jiang Zhaoyu shook her head and said, I can't check it out. I fear my grandfather won't be any better off, but finding someone to come help me. Brother Tang Yu, the man dressed up as the villain from the novel. But I found that the plot of the novel collapsed halfway through. Old Master Wang, who was originally able to live healthily until the end. Now, however, life hangs by a thread. Even Jiang Zhaoyu couldn't find any reason. In an emergency, Jiang Zhaoyu remembered eavesdropping on Tang Yu's heartfelt words last time. She would be with King Lang Tianjing, and reached a state of transcendence. Let Wang Yixu invite him over. Tang Yu hurried over, instinctively focusing his attention. Eyes scanned back and forth on Wang Leizi, ultimately at the position of the old man's heart. A golden thread was discovered. Strange. What is this golden thread? How could it get tangled on the old man's heart? It can still move, damn it. Isn't this Yi Chen's golden silk bug bone? This thing is simply too insidious. Within 24 hours of entering the human body, the host is doomed without a doubt. Even after death, this thing can still dissolve itself. Not even a single piece of evidence can be found. If that's the case, to save old Master Wang, either Yi Chen comes personally to try the secret recipe from King Lang Tianjing, using mugwort, Jiu Lai's hand. 11 types of medicinal herbs are made into incense. I'll find a way to secretly remind them later. No matter what, we cannot let old Wang die. After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, Wang Yixu and Jiang Zhaoyu's expressions changed. As the two of them simultaneously noticed each other's expressions, in an instant a thought crossed my mind. That means the other person can hear Tang Yu's thoughts. Jiang Zhaoyu quickly wrote down the series of drug colors she had just heard. Just let someone go get the medicine. Wang Yixu also let out a sigh of relief. Let everyone go out of the room first, then grabbed Tang Yu's arm. He walked towards the small garden beside him. After arriving at the small garden, Wang Yixu pulled Tang Yu down and asked, I feel like my grandfather is acting strange. He was originally in good health, It suddenly seems very likely that someone has poisoned him. What do you think?" Tang Yu nodded in agreement. "Where is the poison?" "Someone poisoned me. The golden silk worm poison must be close to the target to administer the drug. If Yi Chen hadn't come here to take action personally. That must be Wan Rulong, that fool. This kind of person is really brainless. Colluding with an outsider, thinking they could become the head of the Wang family." Wang Yixu's eyes instantly turned cold. It turned out to be almost exactly as he had guessed. "It's that fool Wan Rulong stirring up trouble again. The reason I kept him last time. It's not because there is no evidence in hand. I just don't want to alert the snake by disturbing the grass. I want to use Wan Rulong's foolishness to manipulate Bai Yechen. I didn't expect him to be so reckless. Dare to lay a hand on Grandpa. Since that's the case, there's no need to keep him around as a fish anymore." When they returned home, a pungent fragrance filled the room. Elder Wang has awakened. After Xiaoyu finished treating the old man with the recipe she heard from Teng Yu, the cursed insect crawled out and died on its own, after everyone came over to greet and inquire about each other's well-being. Just let the old man rest alone in the house. Teng Yugen walked out of the house. His phone started ringing. "I just realized it was a call from Qin Ming. Elder brother, didn't you say you would call me when you did the feng shui at my house? Hurry up and come over. Many people have already arrived today." Tang Yu responded and then hung up the phone. I greeted Wang Yixu and the others, hastily driving to the Qin family. According to the original storyline, today Dragon King Yi Chen is going to make a grand display here, and acquired the title of the top feng shui master in Suzhou and Hangzhou. Tang Yu left right away. Wang Yixu asked everyone to gather at the Wang family ancestral hall. A major announcement is to be made. At this moment, Wan Rulong, feeling guilty, also became anxious. Could it be that someone is trying to harm Grandpa? But he wasn't too nervous, because he is not worried at all about his identity being exposed. He Jiao's methods of sabotaging others are very covert. It will definitely not be found out. After everyone arrived at the ancestral hall, Wang Yixu called out to Wan Rulong, who was standing at the edge. "Make him kneel before the ancestors." Wang Yixu stared at Wang Rulong and questioned him. "The company's recent cooperation with Fowls on the new energy project. Our family almost suffered a huge loss. Did you also have a hand in what happened to Grandpa today?" Wan Rulong's face turned pale as he desperately shook his head. Others found it hard to believe as well. Wang Yixu clapped her hands and said, "I just need to call the witness up. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. The male lead actually tries to intimidate old Master Wang for power. Tang Yu used the King Nang Tianjing to save him again. During this process, Wang Yixu also learned through Tang Yu's thoughts that this matter was instigated by Wan Rulong. Let everyone gather at the Wang family's gathering. Expose his true nature." Wang Yixu clapped her hands, signaling the bodyguard to bring Lai Deshen in. Lai Deshen knelt on the ground with a terrified expression, watching everyone explain the matter in detail. A deep breath. Wang Yixu was the first to speak up to stop. After instructing the bodyguards to lock up Wan Rulong, she turned to everyone and said, "This incident cannot be entirely blamed on Wan Rulong. She is foolish, but some have even more malicious intentions. I must take revenge on her." Everyone expressed their agreement. Soon, the Wan family sent people to search for Yi Chen's whereabouts in preparation for revenge. Meanwhile, all enterprises under the Wang family bear a grudge against Long Chen. The Qin family is incredibly lively at this moment. 2 days ago, the Qin family suddenly released news, inviting feng shui masters from various regions to solve their family's problems. As long as someone can handle it, there is a reward of 1 billion. Thus, the feng shui masters who came from all over the country gathered together just to resolve the troubles of the Qin family today. Tang Yu drove over, just in time to see Yi Chen get out of the car. She got out of the car. Qin Kexin is already waiting for her. Yi Chen smiled and wondered if the talisman he gave himself was effective. Qin Kexin nodded. The gaze was somewhat complicated. To verify Tang Yu's itinerary, she secretly opened the amulet this morning. Inside, there was indeed a haphazard ancient painting symbol. There is a dried blood stain above. Qin Kexin must have been startled by the talisman. Fortunately, brother is feeling merciful this time. Later, I'll kindly help you expose her here. Just as she was wondering, that familiar voice rang out again. She looked around, but could not find the source of the sound. But this made her very excited, because today all truths are about to be revealed. If I told myself that the benefactor of all this has arrived, you must sincerely thank her. After these two entered, Tan Yukai leisurely got out of the car. She did not see Ken Yu after getting out of the car. I saw Zhao Gaosheng waiting for her at the door. She finally understood. So this kid wanted to show off and impress girls by using the Qin family. So she decided to come over and make a good impression. Who made this kid offend young Master Tang? Today we got this done. That's a reward of 1 billion. At this moment, Qin Ming couldn't run over either. As the three walked in side by side, to be more low-key, Tang Yu deliberately walked to a corner spot. Not long after, Qin Tong, the head of the Qin family, couldn't get out with a few bodyguards. Thank you all for gathering to help relieve the suffering of the Qin family. As long as today which master can solve the problem, I present the $1 billion check with both hands. And you will always be the honored guest of the Qin family. His words. The masters all seemed energized as if they had been injected with adrenaline. 1 billion seems easily within reach. At that moment, a middle-aged man stepped forward. He shouted loudly, "Friends, please be quiet. Listen to Ping Dao's words." In an instant, all eyes were focused on him. This person is the current celestial master of Longhu Mountain. The strength is quite impressive. Unfortunately, they encountered the protagonist's law, had to become cannon fodder, and was brutally slapped in the face. Zhao Shizhu looked at everyone and spoke. Fellow cultivators, today there is only one reward, but there are so many of us here. We can't all act at once, can we? How should the rewards be distributed then? So Ping Dao believes that this reward should be determined by one's abilities. Ping Dao stands up to accept everyone's challenge here. If you fellow cultivators win, Ping Dao is leaving immediately. If no one can win against Ping Dao, then this merit for the path must be accepted. His arrogant attitude, causing many feng shui masters to be quite upset. At this moment, the head of the Song family, Song Qingshan, stepped forward. The man dressed as the villain from the novel just barely survived 2 plot segments. It was discovered that the brothers' residential feng shui was ruined by the male lead to gather the sinister energy of the Qin family. Everyone's body has issues. For this, the Qin family offered a 1 billion yuan bonus, inviting feng shui masters from various regions to come and resolve the issue. Zhao Shizhu stepped out first among the 100 categories. Song Qingshan also took the brunt. He threw a string of copper coins high into the air. Immediately, he formed hand seals. The copper coin that flew into the air actually floated up, intercepting formations in the air. After seeing this, Everyone cheered for him. Gao Shizhu showed a look of disdain. Reach out and lightly scold. The heavenly master sword flew into the air on its own. Cut down these copper coins one by one. Song Qingshan was so heartbroken that he nearly spat out a mouthful of old blood. This is his family heirloom. Song Qingshan, after half retreating from the battle, a long-haired old man stepped forward. This person is very famous in the northern Xuanmen, revered as the elder Qiuizing. Old Qiuizing let out a cold snort. A red thread floated in the air. A faint glow appears on the red string, like a fire serpent. But Teng Yu, who had already seen the plot, I can't muster much interest. According to the plot, this old man will also lose to Master Zhao. Then Zhao Tianxi had a conflict with Yi Chen. After Taoist Master Zhao's ritual failed, now it's Yi Chen's turn to show off. Qin Kexin, this silly girl, started to admire him from here. Qin Kexin heard the voice in her heart again. The gaze quickly locked onto Qin Ming. Then he saw Tang Yu sitting on the side. In an instant I remembered it was his voice. He was shocked beyond measure. His expression remained calm. He wants to see if it really is as Teng Yu said. At this moment, old star of Qiuxing has begun to duel with Master Zhao. The red thread he controlled transformed into a fire serpent and headed towards Zhao Shiju's scheme. But Zhao Shiju only scoffed. When the fire serpent flew in front of him, he reached out and pointed. The fire snake unexpectedly settled down by itself, then gave a soft drink. The fire snake actually flew back. The old Star Lord's expression changed drastically as he faced defeat. In this way, no one dared to challenge Zhao any longer. Qin Kexin was stunned at that moment. Everything is indeed exactly the same as the voice I just heard. He quickly composed himself, watching Yi Chen speak. Mr. Yi, this Master Zhao is really impressive. It's simply like being a deity. Yi Chen wore an expression of disdain. They are all just side paths. As soon as he said this, the gaze towards Yi Chen was as if looking at a clown. Qin Penchai frowned, preparing to call the bodyguard to throw him out. Qin Kexin quickly stood up to stop him. He took out the amulet from his pocket and said, "That Mr. Yi is the expert I invited. This is the talisman he gave me. Since wearing it, I've been sleeping very well these past 2 days. The truth has yet to come out. He can't let Yi Chen go." At this moment, Yi Chen also stood up to express, "Only I can solve the Qin family problem." This made Zhao furious. He turned and instructed his disciple to fetch 3 incense burners. After inserting 3 sticks of incense into each incense burner, but did not ignite, Zhao Shiju began to chant spells while digging. After he finished reciting the incantation, the wine ignited in an instant. The smoke curled up, gathering in the air into a gray humanoid figure. Zhao Shiju smiled lightly. Stepping on the 7 stars' path, the master sword pierced through the mist. When his sword struck, the mist seemed to emit a scream. Everyone in the room was startled. A few seconds later, the mist gradually dissipated on its own. The Qin family also felt much more at ease. But not long after, the malevolent energy that had just vanished began to coalesce once more. Zhao Shiju swung the Tianqi sword and countered twice. Still affected by the evil energy, his face turned pale. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he collapsed to the ground, suddenly started convulsing. The Qin family felt much more relaxed just now. This moment has become unbearable. Peng Chai looked over at his daughter. I found that she actually had no problems at all. Could it be that the talisman is really useful? This young talent is truly a hermit beyond the world. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel encountered powerful, malevolent energy at the Qin family. Anyone who attempts to eliminate will face backlash. In a moment of despair, everyone placed their hopes on Yi Chen. Quick, move aside. He's about to start showing off. After throwing out the Jade Buddha to break the evil aura. Later, take the Jade Buddha that was intentionally sold to the Qin family. This malice is brought by this Jade Buddha. He used the blood of stillborns and infants. The evil aura cultivated by soaking the Jade Buddha for 7 days. As long as we smash this Jade Buddha to pieces, this guy will also face backlash. After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, Qin Kexin couldn't help but narrow her eyes. Recently, Qin Ming indeed bought a Jade Buddha from outside. It is said to be a treasure obtained from a high monk. He suppressed his anger deep inside. Looking at Yi Chen, he spoke softly. "Mr. Yi, I'm counting on you." Yi Chen gave a wicked smile, his lips curling, took out the yin-yang and the Jade Buddha from my pocket. After injecting a drop of fresh blood on it, the Jade Buddha emits a faint white light. The gray malevolence in the room rapidly converged into the Jade Buddha, ultimately vanished without a trace. But only less than 5 seconds had passed. The Jade Buddha in Yi Chen's hand showed cracks. Then it shattered. The malevolent energy that had been sucked in earlier erupted instantly. This time, the malevolent aura is even more intense than before. In an instant, the entire room was shrouded in gray, ominous energy. Several members of the Qin family began to feel a bit breathless, pale-faced and speechless. Yi Chen's expression also changed. "What is going on?" At that moment, Zhao Gao stood up suddenly. He looked at Yi Chen with a puzzled expression and spoke. "I thought you had more skills. After a long time, not only could we not solve the problem, instead, it made the malevolent energy even more intense." Yi Chen recognized Zhao Gao, and his expression changed involuntarily. He suddenly realized, "Something feels off about what I bought myself." Zhao Gao no longer wanted to waste words with him. He looked at the terrified crowd and said, "Everyone, please don't panic. Although this person is useless, but our Tang Xiao is exceptionally knowledgeable and talented. The little menace can truly be shattered with a snap of the fingers." At this moment, Tang Yu was completely bewildered. He truly doesn't know how to operate. But everyone had already cast eager and expectant gazes at him. Zhao Gao pulled Tang Yu out from the corner. Tang Yu, with a fierce expression, felt something burning in his pocket. He discovered it only after taking it out. It turns out to be a yin-yang fish jade talisman. "I don't know when I was put in here." The yin-yang fish jade talisman at this moment, activated by the blood that has been dripped. After Tang Yu took it in her hand, the jade talisman suddenly radiated a brilliant golden light. The surrounding gray aura surged towards him wildly, yet was melted by the golden light. Very quickly, the malevolent energy in the room dissipated completely. The Qin family felt their bodies recovering. At this moment, Yi Chen was so angry that he trembled all over. He didn't expect his carefully planned move. "I can't believe I got my peach picked by Tang Yu." He was filled with raging anger, wishing to kill everyone present. Just as he was about to explode, Qin Kexin suddenly rushed towards the Buddha statue on the altar. He grabbed the sharp Buddha statue and slammed it hard onto the ground. As the sound of the Buddha statue shattering echoed, everyone's attention was drawn. After the statue was shattered, a red light shot out from inside and flew towards Yi Chen. He appeared slightly pale. Blood dripped from the nostrils. After the Jade Buddha was destroyed, as the master, he will also face backlash. After seeing this red light and Yi Chen's reaction, Zhao Shidu was the first to react. "You shameless little person! So this malice was actually orchestrated by you." Qin Kexin came to her senses. ran over and looked at his father. This person has malicious intentions. The Qin family will never let him go. Qin Penchai glared at Yi Chen with a cold expression, anger evident in his voice. "This Mr. Yi, shouldn't you give the Qin family an explanation?" "What explanation?" "Am I a prophet? The Qin family will offer a reward of 1 billion." Tang Yu listened to these words and snorted in her heart. "You certainly didn't know that the Qin family would come up with 1 billion. You are going after Qin Kexin. Isn't it just wanting a hero to save the beauty?" Qin Kexin's eyes blazed with fury. Qin Ming also gnashed his teeth in hatred. He let out a roar. The 10 or so bodyguards of the Qin family rushed forward immediately. Yi Chen, however, showed no intention of fleeing. Take the initiative and knock the bodyguard down. Then tighten the grip on Qin Ming's neck. "The small Qin family dares to threaten me, Yi Chen. Originally, everyone could have lived in peace today. Blame that bastard with the surname Tang." Finished speaking, his gaze fell on Tang Yu. Her gaze was full of resentment. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. "I just wanted to keep a low profile until the end." Yet, by a twist of fate, they shone brilliantly in front of the Qin family. Not only does it bring the male lead to disgrace, still facing condemnation from everyone, Yi Chen, in a fit of anger, grabbed Qin Ming by the neck. Staring at Tang Yu, he shouted angrily, "Surname Tang, today I give you a choice. Either the kid with the surname Qin dies. Either you suffer for him." After he finished speaking, he exerted a slight force with his hand. Qin Ming was already struggling to breathe, yet still he awkwardly waved his hand at Tang Yu. "He is someone who has trained for several years. It's clear that my big brother is strong enough to kill a chicken. He has saved himself once. There's no need to save a second time." Tang Yu gritted her teeth. "You let him go. I'll just stay with you, although I really want to calm the dog down. But even a dog has its limits." Tang Yu agreed. The Qin family members were somewhat flustered. They were unwilling to watch Qin Ming get into trouble. But I can't just watch Tang Yu suffer for Qin Ming. Yi Chen also didn't expect Tang Yu to really agree. Let go slightly to allow Qin Ming to catch his breath. He never intended to kill Qin Ming. Just wanted to take the opportunity to humiliate Tang Yu and get back at him. But since he agreed to it, then don't blame yourself for being rude. Tang Yu pointed to the empty space outside the hall. "You let him go. Let's go outside and have a fair duel." Both sides threw a punch. One punch decides the victor. Although I really want to take my time. But brother is not the Dragon King. Ji Bai has his bottom line. Yi Chen agreed verbally, yet still gripping Qin Ming's neck. The three people walked out like that. Tang Yu took a deep breath and spoke. "You can let him go now." Yi Chen let out a cold snort, grabbed Qin Ming and tossed him aside. Standing with arms crossed, looking at Tang Yu disdainfully. "Don't say I'm bullying a useless person like you. You can throw 3 punches first. Take the initiative to strike." Ji's mind is not muddled again. This dog system didn't give me the motivation skill for offense. Take the initiative and give that bastard a good slap. The only 2 skills Tang Yu can currently use. They are the immovable underworld king bow and the yin-yang limitless bow. The former can withstand 1 attack. The latter can take over and continue the fight. Double the damage received and send it back. Yi Chen hated being looked down upon by others the most. He roared and swung a punch at Tang Yu. But with this punch, he did not unleash all his strength. He wants to see this kid lying in a pit, watching the Tang family perish before my eyes. At the same time, but it feels like being in a flower. Tang Yu stood still without moving an inch. After the terrifying power of this punch was absorbed by the immovable King Bo, once again transformed by the yin-yang Wujigong, Tang Yu felt a tremendous force gathering in her right hand. Suddenly he clenched his fist and struck out. Yi Chen was still shocked at why he threw a punch. Unexpectedly, it didn't cause any harm. Tang Yu's fist has already hit him. This punch was leisurely for him, containing an extremely terrifying power. He flew backwards for several meters. It crashed into a statue in the courtyard. The statue is a green cow. Yi Chen happened to hit the bull's horn squarely, crashed into it. It is the most vulnerable part, in the middle of his buttocks. So a wave of pain spread from the chrysanthemum to the entire body. Yi Chen couldn't help but shudder from the pain. He felt a sweetness in his throat. He opened his mouth and spat out a mist of blood. What a wonderful Tang Yu! It was hidden so deeply. Yi Chen walked in with an awkward posture. He gasped in surprise. The gaze directed at Tang Yu was filled with hatred. A bit more fear has crept in. If it weren't for my remarkable physique, this punch might have cost me my own life. At this moment, Kin Kexin suddenly shouted in surprise, "Don't let him go. Go up and hit me. Break a hand, and I'll reward you 10 million. Kill me and reward someone. The bodyguards of the Qin family have just suffered a major loss." At this moment I'm filled with anger, seizing the opportunity to kick someone when they are down. A crowd surged forward. Yi Chen, with a pale face, dared not confront this group of people. Quickly rush out of the Qin family old residence while enduring the pain. A leap forward, directly vaulting over the wall. He was instantly stunned after landing. Outside the Qin family old residence, there were about 10 cars parked. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. As long as the dog reaches the ending, you can win the grand prize. But now, to save his good brother, directly utilize the skills rewarded by the system, the male protagonist is beaten up. Kin Kexin also took this opportunity to launch an attack on Kai. At this moment, Yi Chen was seriously injured, can only escape by climbing over the wall. Unexpectedly, they ran into Wang Yixu, who had come for revenge. Wang Yixu just got off the car. I saw Yi Chen climb over the wall and escape. Noticing the bloodstains on him, without a second thought, the bodyguards rushed forward. Looking at these 30 or so people, Yi Chen shouted in anger. With all their might, they clapped and fought fiercely. But just after taking a punch from Tang Yu, he has already sustained internal injuries. After the chrysanthemum was hurt, it has seriously impacted his performance. Because every time he sells drugs, chrysanthemum was in excruciating pain. It feels like I have a hemorrhoid made of metal. After injuring about 10 security guards, Yi Chen couldn't hold on any longer. Pinned to the ground and brutally beaten by numerous bodyguards. At this moment, Tang Yu and his group had already chased outside. Kin Kexin waved her hand. "Let your bodyguard rush in and patch up." Yi Chen almost got beaten to a pulp. Struggling, I took out a silk pouch from my bosom. After throwing the brocade bag on the ground, a plume of red smoke immediately floated out. After the bodyguards who were beating him inhaled the red smoke, I feel an unbearable itch all over my body. They couldn't continue to beat Yi Chen. Scratching all over my body feels unbearable. Yi Chen finally managed to escape. He grit his teeth and got up from the ground despite the pain. Just when he was about to flee, a bodyguard gritted his teeth and firmly held him down. When we arrived, the young lady said, "Kill this kid. Year-end bonus multiplied by 10. So he endured the itch on his body. We can't let this kid go no matter what." The other bodyguards couldn't just watch the year-end bonus slip away. They endured unbearable itching and pain. struggling to get up to hold on to Yi Chen. At the end of the road of despair, he could only use his last move. Golden cicada sheds its shell, unleashed the last of the true energy within. His pants ripped apart instantly. In this way, he successfully got rid of the bodyguard. Meanwhile, his blood-soaked backside was exposed in front of everyone. It's as if a wild monkey. But Yi Chen couldn't care less about all that anymore. He rushed towards a luxury car, ready to drive away. The bodyguards immediately reacted. Everyone took out their car keys and pressed them. More than 10 cars were all locked. Yi Chen felt 1,000 thoughts swirling in his mind. But I could only choose to turn around and run towards the roadside. At this moment, a taxi is parked by the roadside. Seeing that the pursuers have already come up, Yi Chen was burning with anxiety. A backhand punch struck the driver's head, then skillfully threw the driver off the car. With one foot on the gas, I dashed onto the road and started to run for my life. I saw Yi Chen escape. The Feng Shui master present expressed deep regret about this. People in the Xuyinmain emphasize the rules of the Jianghu. Yi Chen's behavior today is the most despised among the people of the Xuyinmen. Qin Kexin hurried to Tang Yu's side, concerned for him. I've known Tang Yu for so many years. He knows very well that Tang Yu has no strength. This guy stands here with a calm expression. They must be forcing themselves to go public. I don't want these people to see that I'm worried about him. Tang Yu shook her head with a calm expression. Wow, how did you get here? That's not right. Aren't you quite annoyed with Ji? He has known Tang Yu for many years. The relationship between the two cannot be described as close as ice. At the very least, we are like strangers. The reason for the discord in the relationship. It is because over 10 years ago, one day, Qin Kexin was sleeping at home. He has gotten used to sleeping without clothes. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep. That day, Tang Yu came to the Qin family to play with Qin Ming. Accidentally opened his door. So the two of them had an honest meeting. As a teenage girl, how could he endure such a thing? He didn't even wear clothes the whole way. Get up and walk over. Tang Yu was left astonished with a big nose ring. From that day on, the relationship between the two is beyond words. At this moment, Tang Yu's gaze unconsciously fell on. Qin Kexin has developed exceptionally well in a certain area. It's been a while since I've seen you. How did this girl develop so well? In the beginning, it was that little bastard Qin Ming who set me up. That dog intentionally asked me to help him get something. You tricked me into this foolish girl's room. If you want me to be your brother-in-law, you shouldn't be so cruel, right? That big deal is practically a white dwarf. After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, Qin Kexin felt a sudden mix of embarrassment and guilt. She cast a murderous glare at her younger brother. Wang Yixu, walking over, also heard Tang Yu's inner thoughts. He also cast a murderous glare at Qin Ming. The man dressed as the villain from the novel accidentally saved the Qin family from a disaster of wife killing. Even during the fight, she severely injured the male lead. This made Yi Chen feel utterly defeated. It has left a lasting infamy. At the same time, in one's own voice. Under the bonus that the female lead can hear, Wang Yixu and Qin Kexin also hated Yi Chen deeply. Decide to ally with Tang Yu to deal with him together. He saw both women looking at him. Tang Yu suddenly felt a toothache. Ji really just wants to quietly deal with his mixed breed illness. But today, we are almost done with the Dragon King's matter. It has come to this. Just thinking about the dog is definitely not enough. Damn it, I had no choice but to join. I didn't expect my brother to be a villain. We'll team up with the heroines to fight the Dragon King. But it may not necessarily be a bad thing. Anyway, it can't go on like this. Just do whatever you need to do. After the three major families joined forces. The energy contained is extremely terrifying. At least it's not something the Lincheng group can resist. After driving non-stop for over 20 kilometers, Yi Chen finally escaped to the He family. Just as I was about to get off the car, I realized another issue. Even though I am wearing clothes, I can't believe I'm not wearing pants. After thinking for a moment, she took off her coat, walked into the He family with it tied around my waist. The He family's people are quite familiar with her, seeing her in such a miserable state. She was quickly sent to the He family's private hospital for treatment. This person must be eliminated by himself. At that moment, a series of footsteps echoed in the corridor. He Huiying entered with an elderly woman from outside. The old lady is currently the head of the He family and Lion Hua. The He family is a very strange big family. It has always been women who take charge. The women in their family never go out, only accepting live in sons-in-law. After exchanging a few pleasantries in the hospital room, Mrs. He took her granddaughter He Huiying out of the hospital room. At this moment, He Huiying's face showed a hint of disdain. She already knows about the situation with the Qin family. Using such dirty tactics, the matter didn't get done, and I ended up being beaten into a thread. Even the pants are gone. Yi Chen rested in the hospital room for 2 hours. 4 men in black suits walked in from outside. They all wore a skull ring on their fingers. This is the Grim Reaper Squad of the Dragon Soul organization. It is also one of the most elite forces under Yi Chen's command, second only to the 8 great generals. Because I was called back due to today's incident, Yi Chen spoke up. How's the intelligence gathering over in Yanjing? 3 major families have already been investigated. I found some clues. One person took out a document and handed it to Yi Chen. Yi Chen took it and looked at it. Her expression was somewhat gloomy. Got it. Wait until I recover. I will personally make a trip to Yanjing. He really doesn't want to show his face in Suzhou and Hangzhou for a while. He looked at the 4 and commanded, "You 4 will stay in Suzhou and Hangzhou. Kill the eldest son of the Tang family, Tang Yu, lying in the hospital bed now. He has already sensed that something is off. He threw his punch. He doesn't understand why he wasn't harmed. But Tang Yu hit back with that punch, containing his unique cliff energy. So he speculated about Tang Yu's strength. Perhaps it's not what he expected. Let the Grim Reaper squad take action to test it out. Is the best choice." After leaving the Qin family, Tang Yu and Zhao Gaoshen left together in a car. Tang Yu felt irritated upon seeing this traitor. I started to suspect that there might be a problem with our feng shui. Why is everyone out there thinking of ways to stab each other in the back? Tang Yu took out the 1 billion check from his pocket. Stuff it into his hand. He originally didn't want this money. The Qin family is determined to have him taken down. Isn't it contradictory to say that we won't take from the Qin family? By the way, Uncle Zhao, aren't we planning to develop a tourism project in Antarctica? I want you to be the head of this project. The salary bonus is calculated at 3 times the modern rate. Those who are stabbed and betrayed are all exiled. Zhao Gao was deeply moved to the point of tears. After getting off the car, take your phone and snap a picture of the check. Sent it to the management group. After returning home, the system's voice sounded. The host successfully survived the plot. Inspiration from the completion of the reward cultivation. You can choose one from the immovable Underworld Palace and the Yin Yang Ultimate Palace, or randomly select an inspiring lesson. This dog pen system is surprisingly generous. No more one-time rewards. Isn't it a bit stubborn? rewards can actually be better. Tang Yu quickly chose the immovable underworld palace because of the fear of pain. So there needs to be some defense. Very soon, he felt an inexhaustible energy surging within him. So they decided to find someone to experiment with. The man dressed up as the main villain from the novel just had a fierce confrontation with the male lead, received the system reward of the immovable underworld palace, directly maxed out the defense value. To test my abilities, decided to find someone to take strong action. Tang Yu arrived at his father's room. As soon as I walked in, I saw him looking at stocks on the computer. He walked over and patted Tang Fu on the shoulder. "How has Lao Tang been doing with stock trading lately? Did you make any money?" Tang Fu's expression darkened instantly. He got up and walked towards the door to lock it. Then he slowly pulled out his belt, walking towards Tang Yu. After the belt came down, he no longer howled like he used to. A calm and composed smile on the face. Tang Fu suddenly began to doubt his life. Being able to take a belt from Dad without feeling anything. This is truly very good. Tang Yu hopped back into the room. I saw a graceful beauty at the door, quickly greeted with a cheerful smile. Lin Han looked up at Tang Yu and softly said, "Kang Xiao seems to have forgotten me." Tang Yu was slightly taken aback. Only after staring closely at the other person did I recognize them. This is ridiculous. Isn't that Lin Han we met last time at the Zen Club? According to the original plot, he should be flirting with Qin Ming and another rich young man. It's better to sow discord between the two. Later, I reminded Qin Ming. Let Qin Ming stay away from him. And then I never heard from him again. Damn the morning of the dog. You're in a hurry to get revenge on me. This female villain is not easy to deal with. The 8 great generals rank 3rd. He came to see Brother Chom. Unfortunately, I met G. You're probably not going to last a day. Today, I'll let you know. How did the nickname Brother Fish Fry come about? Tang Yu muttered and pointed to his room. First, tidy up my room. I see if you can do it. In the past, I was afraid of you. After all, they are the 8 great generals. Now, this world is different from the past. Brother is no longer afraid to fight. He sat cross-legged on the ground. The gaze shifted directly around Lin Han. This outfit is a good choice. However, it is still somewhat too conservative. Opening your heart will make it better. He sat on the carpet and patted the block beside him. In our house, the maid also needs to know how to give massages. Come, let me test you. Lin Han restrained the impulse to hit. I can only help with the massage. This is what you call a divine life. The technique has become specialized. Such a beautiful girl. What does it mean to be a killer? The world of assassins is very dangerous. A day of fighting and killing. Still need to lurk around. It's so tiring for a girl like this. After hearing Tang Yu's inward sigh, Lin Han couldn't help but feel a bit disgusted. It was even a little touching, knowing that I am the enemy, still willing to think this way for oneself. But deep down in his heart, I have indeed had such thoughts. Lin Han asked softly, "Tang Shang, can I stay and be a maid now?" Tang Yu thought for a moment. It seems unreasonable to just drive someone away without a reason. You have to stay yourself. Then don't blame me for being shameless. But to be honest, if it weren't for your family being harmed by Master Yi Chen, in terms of status, you're no worse than me, young lady. My parents and younger brother were killed when I was little, was taken by an enemy to be trained as an assassin. He is also a pitiful person. Lin Han was massaging Tang Yu's shoulders. The motion that suddenly comes to a halt. He looked completely stunned. I can't believe what I just heard. The reason he came to find Tang Yu. I want to get news about my younger brother from Tang Yu. The organization had that old man tell him in person. His parents were killed by a certain assassin organization. He only saved himself when he rushed over. As for my younger brother, that old man said he was missing. Later, he sought revenge. Personally eliminated that killer organization, but still couldn't find any news about his brother, the one who planned all of this. It turned out to be the elder he held in the highest respect. His eyes turned red. A surge of murderous intent could not be suppressed. So I found an excuse to go to the bathroom. The heart's voice never lies. But he still wanted to continue investigating the clues. Make sure of this matter. If that old man is truly your enemy, so from now on, he will stand on the opposing side of the Dragon Soul organization. When he returned home, a young man has already entered the room. The man dressed like the villain from a novel, because she repeatedly offended the male lead. The male lead arranged for a spy to be by his side. Even his own cousin was bought off. Tang Royu came over with a gift to visit. Tang Yu chuckled. These past 25 years have ignored the current dark energy. Most likely, they have ulterior motives. Tang Royu handed over the gift and then spoke. By the way, big brother, after spending some time at the company, discover a problem. The company's accounts don't quite match up. I suspect there are executives involved in cooking the books. I would like to ask you to go take a look. Tang Yu glanced at the kid. Fake accounts? Sure. Now then, let's do it in a couple of days. It is said that He Xiao and his group have arrived. They asked to seek opportunities for themselves. Trick Tang Yu into going out alone. It makes it easier for them to take action. After this kid died, no one in the Tang family can compete with me for power anymore. Tang Yu smiled broadly. He was just waiting for this kid to take the bait. Now Li Chen is hiding. These troublemakers are definitely going to cause some chaos one by one. Deal with them one by one first. Tang Royu left the Tang family and returned to the car. Hurry up and grab your phone to report the situation. This time, Tang Yu is definitely doomed. But Tang Royu did not know that. He just finished the phone call. Tang Yu has already obtained the recording. After listening to the recording, Tang Yu couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Death Bod Squad. Regarding this team, Tang Yu's impression is still very deep. They are the true elite of the Dragon Soul organization. Helped Dragon King Yi Chang accomplish many tasks. These individuals possess profound strength, one after another. All are standard and precise individuals. Just four smelly little brothers. Tang Yu smiled slyly, feeling a bit elated. Dragon King Yi Chentang, a master of self-destruction. No one can break the defenses of the immovable King Palace. They want to cooperate with Tang Yi.